Yes.
Hey there, movie nerds. Recorded in the beautiful Barnes-Dixon Memorial Studio at the one and only Inspire Music Collective in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana, featuring Midwest movie musings from Ed, Joe, Casey, and Trevor. That's right, you're listening to Reel Poppycock, a film-focused podcast where four everyday self-proclaimed movie nerds discuss whether your favorite flicks are or are not Reel Poppycock. Potential side effects include death, nausea, foaming at the mouth, bulging of the pants, and maybe even a little hitch in your giddy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to yet another episode of Reel Poppycock. We're your hosts today. I am Ed.
This is Trevor.
And this is KC. I got to jump in on here.
Yeah.
Please. This is the weirdest remake of Touched by an Angel I've ever seen.
Yeah. I must.
I didn't think they were going to go in this direction with
How
the
could they
franchise.
not bring Della Reese back for
I thought
the
that was
reunion?
a miss. It was a miss.
You
We'll get to it in the
can't
Dreamcast. Oh
have
my gosh.
Angels telling people to kiss their entire ass.
No, you just make them give up their faith.
So you just, she had to sit this one out, I guess. Yeah, so, Poppycock faithful, we do have a little bit of an update we want to give you. It's a little unfortunate news, but, we're going to be all right, as K-Dot would say. As you know, the past couple episodes have been without Poppycock host Joe. And Joe reached out to us, let us know that he has to take a little bit of a break from doing a pod due to a new business venture he's a part of that just has occupied all of his time and whatnot. So,
I mean, I just wish he didn't have to move to Columbia for this job.
Right.
But you got to go to the source if you're at that level. Yeah.
I told him.
I thought it was a shower curtain ring salesman like John Candy.
It's what's in those rings that, is important.
We love you, Joe.
Yeah, we love you, Joe.
You will be missed.
Yes, you will.
I am working on an impersonation of Joe that I will.
But it is, Joe assured us that it is temporary. This is not at all a permanent thing. But for the next, several episodes, you're going to be hanging out with us.
And, we might even have a couple other people come and hang out with us from time to time.
We have discussed that.
We got another seat here.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, we also have the other seat that we always keep open for Elijah.
Yeah.
But, we got to fill this space. We need a little bit of energy.
Elijah's a freak, and freaks only come out at night.
Yeah, we do. We're recording before.
Yeah, so, but just to give y'all just a teeny tiny bit of a sneak peek into next week's episode, we will in fact have a guest host. Now, we are not going to say who said guest host is going to be.
Yep.
But just know we will have a guest host in studio with us when we discuss our next film.
We'll just say
we'll save that for the end of the pod today.
It is a fact. As a teaser, it is a fact that you love listening to them already.
Yes.
We'll leave it at
that is
that.
a fact. That's not even an opinion. That's a fact.
It's a fact.
That is a fact. So, yeah. But we are here today to discuss a movie that I'm not ashamed to admit I had not seen prior. And when it was brought up...
No, that was Chris Rock. That wasn't Richard Pryor.
Oh. You're right. You're right.
Okay, I got myself with that one.
I do like how when we showed up at the movie theater to watch this together, that up until right before showtime, Ed thought we were watching Stigmata.
He's like, Kevin Smith made Stigmata?
Yeah, being asleep at the wheel, that's what that was.
The Clerks guy made...
And I actually can't believe I hadn't seen this because I've seen a lot of Kevin Smith stuff, and this
won't be the last Kevin Smith I think we do either.
This is one of the top, probably the top. I don't know.
We'll get there.
I know that's up for debate and whatnot, but the movie we're talking about is the 1999 religious comedy classic, Dogma. Yeah. Kevin Smith written and directed. Yeah, so
Weinstein produced.
oh,
We'll get to all that.
Sorry, I should turn away from the mic.
Yeah, but yeah, so Trevor was gracious enough, to grab some tickets to go see this at a theater, and like he said,
I mean, never forget. You know that we know the name of the theater. You can never forget it.
No, you can never forget. Never forget. I didn't say it intentionally, Trevor, because I don't know how they would feel with me saying it. You think they would have any issues whatsoever?
I don't think they would. I mean, we have talking about the Alamo when we discussed the end of Saving Private Ryan, so we're already on board with that.
Oh, we talked about seeing what was the other? We saw Vertigo.
We did see Vertigo.
Yeah.
We did not do an episode on Vertigo, but
was there not like a long, boring ass movie that starred Billy Bob Thornton about this event?
About the Alamo?
Yeah.
I don't know. I forgot it.
It was like, in case, it's easy
Johnny
to
Tyler.
forget. Yeah, Johnny Tyler. But yeah, so we we go to see it, and like Trevor was saying, I am thinking Stigmata the whole time. And so it was a pleasant surprise to get there and it be Dogma, and I get to see this movie for the first time, and I'm just fucking rolling the whole damn time. Like, this movie is absolutely hilarious.
It was a pleasure to sit next to you, knowing you hadn't seen it, and just trying to be the best person I can and not spoil anything or react to things before you do.
Yeah. No, you did very well, but all of you did well. So I do appreciate that. Yeah, got to enjoy this film in its entirety. Like, yeah. It was great. And it was a great little Q&A after. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that. There was a great little Kevin Smith Q&A after that played immediately following the film. And it was fantastic. So with having said all of that, just like we do every episode, and we're going to get started talking about this movie by letting our guy Trevor give you the real basic facts on it.
Thank you, Ed.
You got it.
All right, so we have Dogma, released on November 12th, 1999, with a runtime of 2 hours and 8 minutes. Budget of $10 million with a box office return of $45 million.
Come on, Dogma.
So some of the reason that it may not have been seen by Ed, just in general, this movie was hard to find for a while. So after the print runs of DVDs and Blu-rays ran out about 15 years ago, Dogma was difficult to view. Poppycock, Reel Poppycock recurring antagonist, the rapist Harvey Weinstein, owned the rights for Dogma and prevented the film from being able to be like on streaming services or to be rent or purchased digitally. And so then Dogma director Kevin Smith can also be quoted as saying, "My movie about angels is owned by the devil himself."
Yeah. Fuck.
So then after Weinstein got 23 years in prison for his devilish deeds,
Not enough.
Iconic Events film production company bought the rights to Dogma, which then meant the theatrical re-release in June of 2025, which we just talked about. We were able to see in theaters and with the Q&A afterwards, which I think Kevin Smith did like a 25-city tour or something with this. We did not see the live Kevin Smith part, but yeah. So,
And as of recording, he is still alive.
Yes.
So Dogma was, as we have mentioned, written and directed by Kevin Smith. It is the fourth film in Smith's View Askewniverse. So quick rundown of Smith's filmography. We have Clerks in 94, Mallrats in 95,
My shit.
Chasing Amy in 97, then this Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back in 2001, Jersey Girl, ouch, in 2004, Clerks 2 in 2006, Zack and Miri Make a Porno, Cop Out, that's kind of ouch too, but
That's all right.
Red State, Tusk, Yoga Hosers, the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and Clerks 3 in 2022. So Kevin Smith wrote and directed all of those and played the role of Silent Bob in most of them. Kevin Smith's status as a legendary independent filmmaker is firmly intact. And then Smith is also a comic book store owner and podcast host.
Oh, yeah, Red Bank. Yeah.
And Casey has been an avid listener of that podcast, at least at some point in their
My
history.
friends,
So
my comrades, I would not be sitting here with you today doing a podcast. I wouldn't have been listening to podcasts if it weren't for Who Is Not Silent, who is Kevin and Bob. I used to listen to it's Jay and Silent Bob Get Old was the one I listened to the most, because it was kind of about friendship, and it was about how they grew together and worked together and learned more things about each other, but also about like growing up and dealing with addiction and getting married and having kids and starting businesses together and stuff. It was pretty good. And I even saw that one at the Clues Hall.
Nice.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, that's dope.
I got a nice sweaty hug from both of them.
That's dope.
They answered my questions and hit on me. It was fun. It was a good night.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is where, Joe, we love you and we miss you, but this is where Joe would usually hit some of the music things. So I think both Ed and Casey had some.
Yeah, so looking into who did the music for this, the composer on it, and this was a good grab for Kevin Smith, Howard Shore.
Yeah.
A Canadian composer that was born in Toronto. Was in a jazz fusion band and into that scene throughout the 60s and 70s, and then got into doing scores for movies in the late 70s. His first career film score was the B movie I Miss You, Hugs and Kisses in 1978.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant do you like jazz?
Yeah.
And picking up your girlfriend from high school. Seinfeld, 19 years old. Google that.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it took me getting older to get into Seinfeld. When I was coming up, I did not dig it, but
See, he wouldn't like to hear that.
No doubt. Hey, Jerry's coming to town soon. He's gonna be at the Marat. Yeah.
Talking about Pop-Tarts?
Who knows? Maybe the B movie. I don't know. But Shore went on to do the score for the horror movie The Brood in 1979.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then from there, The Dead Zone in 1983.
That makes sense.
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken, you're damn right. All right, and then into the 80s, he starts to get into some of the bigger pictures. He does After Hours by Martin Scorsese in 85, and then 88, Big, directed by Penny Marshall, who we covered on our episode of
Shout out to a real one.
A League of Their Own. Yeah, and then the big acclaim. This is where it
Bigger
really
than
starts
big.
taking off. The 1991 mega smash, The Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. Score heavy too. Like that movie's nothing without that.
Absolutely nothing.
Which
So,
I would say about this film too. We heard a little bit of the movies theme
Yeah.
at the beginning of this one, which will address what that all means if you haven't seen this film. We'll get to the movie stuff later. But he does such a good job in this film of setting the weight of things when it's necessary, but also making it very, very light and fun. Like, this isn't a horror film. It's Catholic doctrine. Like, it's only as scary as...
yeah.
As people are willing to believe themselves.
Right.
Yikes.
So let me go ahead and finish this up because Shore did some things, So Shore did some things. So that's where, he really, really took off. Then he goes on to do Seven.
Damn.
Yes. Mrs. Doubtfire.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, that's a fun...
Then he starts collecting statues when he does the score for 2001's Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then he goes on to do Gangs of New York. And then all the rest of the Lord of the Rings. He did the Hobbit films. He did the Aviator. And yeah.
The Aviator. We might need to do that one sometime.
So,
that's an interesting story.
Yeah. Shore has done some things.
Wow.
And Shore's still with us, so yeah.
It's amazing.
Pretty
Kevin
sure
Smith
got
is...
some good stuff still to come.
Kevin Smith is very inspiring. Like, he is a lover of film, like we all are here too. And to get someone of that caliber, not exactly on their way up, because the way was always going up for this guy, but to have this movie also be a part of that canon of his films, that's got to be, I mean, it's just very inspiring because Kevin Smith is like, just try to do anything. And then sometimes something crazy like this movie comes together.
Would you say that Kevin Smith really shored up his legacy by having this composer?
That's all, folks.
Sure didn't hurt it. It didn't hurt it.
And this was kind of the first big budget thing that Smith, I mean, $10 million isn't huge budget,
No,
but to
but
the point to
that's-
where
yeah,
like
yeah.
the score could be recorded at Abbey Road Studios.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely
Abbey
in
Road
the
was
budget.
popping off for a while.
That's definitely in the budget when you got 10 mil. Like, might as well.
Well, and I feel like Abbey Road was working with Miramax and Disney a lot at that point too.
Probably so.
They're in each other's.
Probably so.
Yeah.
So, we've got a large ensemble cast for the stars of Dogma, and many of them are frequent Kevin Smith collaborators. And so some of what I'll be talking about here is just building the universe, the View Askew universe out a little bit, but then, kind of just introducing you to the players, which we will go into more detail with as we meet them in the movie.
Yeah.
So we have Ben Affleck as Bartleby, a fallen angel. And this is where I need to give a shout out to close friend and Reel Poppycock fan Antoine Birdsong. Back during quarantine, Twan and my wife and myself watched a boatload of movies, and there were countless times when any generic looking white dude would pop up on screen and Twan would ask, "Is that Ben Affleck?"
It's worth. He's in a lot of stuff though.
So if you white, you Ben Affleck. Love you, Twan. We have Matt Damon as Loki, the fallen angel of death.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Fresh off of getting his privates shaved as Ryan in that World War II flick that Reel Poppycock just covered, we get another fucking Matt Damon popping up again.
It wasn't a grand design, but I can dig it. I love me some Matt Damon.
Yeah, are we just doing
I'm
like a
fan.
Matt Damon thing?
Hey, I am a fan.
We have Linda Fiorentino as Bethany Sloan, and just two quick roles for her. The 1995 William Friedkin directed erotic thriller Jade, and then probably most people will know her from Men in Black.
Men in Black. She did it for me in that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't say the same about what she looked like in Dogma, but in that, in Men in Black, she absolutely did it for me. You go, girl.
Yeah.
There is one scene in Dogma we'll talk about with her.
Yeah, I got
But
you. No,
I'll get
I'm
to
with
later.
you. No,
I'm
no,
sure you
no,
know
no,
exactly what I'm
with you.
talking about, too.
Yeah,
But
She's like the heart in Men in Black too. Like, yeah, that really helps. She's a very grounding
You
character.
talking about when she was in them drawers, so scared up in the room. I know, I know.
With
I
the
know,
baseball.
yeah, look,
I liked
look.
it. It was it's a very respectful scene.
yeah.
I think we'll get to.
Yeah.
Continuing with the cast real quick, Salma Hayek as the muse named Serendipity.
Yeah.
And so my co-host will mention Salma's super rich husband for her, and glamorous lifestyle as to why she is still doing Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue cover shoots at the current age of 58. And while that may be the case, I'll also add that Salma's been a smoke show since, I don't know, she helped put me through puberty in the 90s with
Yes, she
flicks
did.
like From Dusk Till Dawn
Yeah.
and Desperado.
Yeah. No, some smoke, okay? And anybody that would say otherwise is just a fucking idiot.
Well, I think like she's got the gravitas and the confidence to like that's why she's a perfect muse.
Yeah.
She's very inspiring.
But,
Absolutely.
to alluding to what Trevor was saying about us, and, talking about someone that has some work done. You know what I mean? So when you've got just, all kinds of money, that you're married to and stuff, you can do whatever.
Why not?
And so she had the money to go to the best of the best, obviously, because she don't look all fucked up like some others.
Yeah.
Don't deny me. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, so but I'm not gonna bad talk Selma too tough. She has had a lot of work done. You can see it. And but it doesn't negate the fact that she still smokes.
Absolutely. And it was also more so for just at that moment, it was me learning of the billionaire husband kind of shit.
Yeah.
But
I say big ups to anyone for gender affirming care. Fucking, that's what that is. That's all it is.
She come from money too. Selma just always been in money.
Wait, who's her husband? I don't even know who
I don't know.
he is.
Oh, I thought one of you. Okay.
Yeah, no. It
right.
was me, but yeah, I don't know his name or anything.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I just know he's rich as fuck.
Just some golfing buddy. Okay.
And that's not to take away from, obviously, as we've said, how beautiful she is or how talented she is as well, because she's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
and
she's super fucking funny. She's actually, she has some of the best line deliveries in this entire
Agreed.
film. For like
Agreed.
full energy, and also being able to act as a muse. It's very funny to see a muse just think things out and obviously know what's supposed to happen, and just she does a very good job of being
Yeah.
like, yeah, all right.
So-
Anytime you want to get to it.
I'm on the other side of the tracks, when it comes to Selma's
Hilarities?
well, not hilarities. They write her some good lines, you get some
Really? Okay, all right.
listen.
We'll get to it. Okay, we'll get to it.
I don't think she's that strong of an actress though.
Wow, that's interesting.
I don't think she's that strong of one. I'm not saying she's like bad or anything. I'm not putting them bottom.
I wonder if she's running to the
Keanu,
right.
but
the-
I'm just saying, like, I think she's just all right.
I wonder if it's some of the booking. Like, I know that
What I would
Sofia Vergara said once that she was like doing a film for
go to
someone
that.
else, and yes, but she was also like she was doing stand-up comedy before that and like trying to be a comedian, and it's kind of like hard to get one thing or another to happen once you're already on film
You
as
get
a certain kind of
typecast and
person.
pigeonholed into those
Yeah.
type of
well,
roles.
you are fine as fuck. Curvy Latina, like it's gonna.
But yeah,
happen
Hollywood's
to
never
you.
seen anything like that.
So, but both her and Selma, I think part of it for me is the thick accents. I would love to see Selma in a Spanish speaking role.
Dude, we're from the fucking Midwest. Everyone has a better accent than this.
It's just yeah.
Everything's well, no. All right, there's one I won't mention that.
Well, continuing on with the cast, Jason Lee as Azrael. It's our film's antagonist.
Loved him in Mallrats.
I like him in kind of everything. He's very fun. He's
Well, and he was Earl in My Name is Earl, which
Yeah.
is one of the things that probably a lot of people would know. But also, like Ed said, being in Mallrats, Jason Lee's been in 8 Kevin Smith flicks. Not all as the same character, but like Brody and Banksy and
Yep.
yeah.
It's kind of the bulk of his work
Did y'all
outside
ever
of the
see a
show.
Guy thing? Did you see that one?
Which one?
A guy thing?
I don't
No,
think so.
Okay.
it's a Jason. movie.
Jason
Okay.
Lee stars in it. It's also got Julia Stiles, and I can't remember the other young lady that's in
Oh.
it, but like, yeah, he kind of gets caught up in this love triangle. Like, he's engaged to the one girl, and he and Julia end up, but it's pretty silly. It's pretty silly. I actually saw it one day, and it was, I went out and bought it the next day.
Whoa!
that's
So I
all right.
own it.
So we're throwing that one. We'll throw
like
that
it.
one maybe around
A
Thanksgiving
guy
time.
thing.
That sounds like a nice.
I thoroughly like that one.
That's a guy thing. I'm learning so much about you, Ed.
I know.
We also have Alan Rickman as Metatron, who
Alan
acts as the
Rickman.
voice of
Yes.
God. And Rickman got plenty of love in the Reel Poppycock Season 1, Episode 9 on the Christmas classic Die Hard.
Yes.
And just a reminder here that Rickman is a Shakespearean-trained actor.
Yes.
So that brings us to Jason Mewes as Jay, who is pretty much the opposite of a Shakespearean-trained actor.
Polar opposite.
But Mewes is still hilarious and perfect for the role of Jay. And so Kevin Smith warned Mewes that Mewes couldn't mess up filming with all the heavyweight actors around like Alan Rickman. So Mewes actually memorized the entire script for the movie, not just Jay's lines.
Yeah.
Because as I'll quote Mewes, he didn't want to piss off that Rickman dude. So good job, Jason.
Yeah.
Muse.
Kevin Smith as Silent Bob.
Oh, wait,
who's
no, wait, do you
Jay's
know the rest-
hetero life mate?
Wait. Do
Please
you know
tell
the
me
rest of that part?
Please tell me the rest.
Okay, so there's a part where Kevin Smith is just walking on set and sitting in front of the church. They're like doing the church scenes, and without any provocation, he sees Jason Mewes and Alan Rickman sitting together for almost half an hour, just like going at it, and assuming Mewes is just like talking, being Jason Mewes. So he talks to Alan Rickman later, and Rickman just says, "He is the best of America." about Jason Mewes. And I think that's it's pretty interesting.
Something.
That is
Yeah.
beautiful. I did have that later on as I believe the exact quote was, I love Jason Mewes. He is an American icon.
Yeah,
There it is. Oh, I didn't know you had it in there already.
It was,
very
it was
excited.
buried within the
Snooch.
analysis of the movies.
I be saying snooch to this day.
Snooch. Snoochy boogie.
Snoochie boogie.
Snooch to the nooch.
So that was a lot for
Knowing-
the cast, but I'm going to save the best for last, which are honestly two of the funniest humans who have ever lived. We'll start first with the smaller role of George Carlin as Cardinal Ignatius Glick. And Carlin was a stand-up comic, author, actor, and honestly philosophical thought leader for, me at least. Carlin had little time for bullshit and plenty of vitriol for so much of what was wrong with modern society.
Yeah.
And our world sincerely misses his gruff perspective
Absolutely.
and authentic realness.
Ooh, I have a quick quip about that. I
Please.
watched an interview with Kevin Smith, and he talked about when they went to Carlin for this film, he was interested pretty quickly. They both were interested. But Carlin's wife had recently died. And he's on the phone with Kevin, and Kevin's like, I'm sorry for your loss. And Carlin's like, I am too. She was a wonderful lady. And I'm interested in your flick, but I understand I'd be playing a cardinal, and I'm not at a point where I'd be taking my ring off yet. So can I wear a Band-Aid over my ring so I can shoot the flick?
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's so
Okay.
heart-wrenching. I was like, oh, man.
Well, then wasn't it that like cardinals wear some sort of other ring, and so then like
It's
they
all kinds
just-
of different
yeah.
things, but they can't be
cover
married.
it.
They
Right,
can't
right.
wear a
It's
wedding
on the
ring on
other
that
hand.
finger. And he was like,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
Thank you for that,
Yeah, that's
Casey.
cool.
And Chris Rock as Rufus, the 13th apostle. And honestly, I don't think Dogma works without someone of Chris Rock's caliber on the cast.
Right.
Not only does Rock consistently provide hilarity, but he is also the emotional heart of the movie. Rock started off as a stand-up comic in the 80s, was an SNL cast member in the early 90s, and is also an actor, writer, director, and frequent award show host. So then this is a sneak preview of Reel Poppycock's upcoming episode for the 4th of July on Independence Day. Because I've heard Will Smith and Chris Rock have, some history at the Academy Awards, potentially.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
Oh, no.
Something happened?
And wrapping this all up, there's one more notable cast member who at this point will remain unnamed to save spoilers for later in the episode. But I will give a hint here. This cast member wrote a famous song about going down on Uncle Joey from Full House in a theater.
I can dig it, and you ought to know that it's time for us to get into the synopsis of this movie. But before I do want to say, like, if you're like me and you have not seen this film, I just want to go ahead and let you know that we're going to be doing spoilers. There's full of spoilers. Okay, so anyone that hasn't seen Dogma,
Well, yeah.
be
And
warned.
I got to say, warned for sure. In fact, I think that we might just go ahead and do a little disclaimer here.
Ooh.
Just it's a very important film. Disclaimer. A renunciation of any claim or connection with disavow a statement made to save one's own ass. It's just
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there's your disclaimer
so-
and the synopsis.
Though it'll go without saying, 10 minutes or so into the proceedings, View Askew would like to state that this film is, from start to finish, a work of comedic fantasy, not to be taken seriously. To insist that any of what follows is incendiary or inflammatory is just to miss our interpretation and pass judgment. And passing judgment is reserved for God and God alone.
Okay.
This goes for film critics too. Just kidding.
Okay. All right. So the synopsis.
So please,
Oh.
before you think about hurting someone over this trifle of a film, remember, even God has a sense of humor. Just look at the platypus. Thank you. And enjoy the show.
So the synopsis. The synopsis, according to IMDb.
P.S. We sincerely apologize to all platypus enthusiasts out there who are offended by the thoughtless comment about the platypi. We at View Askew respect the noble platypus, and it is not our intention to slight these stupid creatures in any way. Thank you again, and enjoy.
All right. The synopsis, according to IMDb. An abortion clinic worker with a special heritage is called upon to save the existence of humanity from being negated by two renegade angels trying to exploit a loophole and re-enter heaven.
Yep. The end of existence.
Yeah.
Just because of silly men in their books.
And to clarify some of that bit, which thank you so much, because that was exactly what I was hoping for. What Casey was reading off were the actual disclaimers that open up the movie Dogma before any scene is played. All those words cross the screen, and yes, thank you. That was great.
Yeah, and you know what?
I'm going to read the Bible next. That's going to be on the Patreon.
That's going to be the one that really puts us on the map. You know, but we might as well just go ahead and.
Oh, the timing. Okay.
Oh yeah, get this pop quiz.
Try to make plans and God laughs.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get this pop quiz knocked out early in the episode. And what made me, sound the horn and
Was
get
it
into
the platypus?
pop quiz. It's really, just the start of this movie in general.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It comes in
So,
hot. It's great.
It does come in hot. So, like the first question, and for anybody who's new to the show, every now and again when we're doing a movie, I'll watch and I'll try to find different parts from the movie, to quiz my fellow co-host on for points, and what those points can be used for has yet to be determined.
Maybe we can redeem some of these points for salvation for our souls, for
I
our
like it.
dirty deeds.
I like it.
Dirt cheap.
There you go. Yes. They'll be like Hail Marys. Okay? They'll be like Hail Marys. All right, so yeah. So
wait, does God frown upon salad tossing?
in the culinary
Was that the first
sense, I don't
pop
believe
quiz
so.
question?
Sorry.
In the culinary sense, probably not so much, but I don't know about that other one. I'm a fan though, so.
Millennials.
So the very first question I got, all right, where's the opening scene set?
I believe Asbury Park, New Jersey.
You nailed it.
Asbury Park, New Jersey.
Nailed it. Yes. All right, point to Trevor right there. All right, question number 2. What does Loki say is the next best thing to getting laid?
Murder.
Killing people. I will give that to you. Yes.
Nice.
So point to KC right there. I have just 2 more. I didn't even
I'm
come
hoping to
with a
try to
full
do
5.
both of those things. Well, I mean, not hoping. But
I didn't even
I'll
do
try.
a full 5 questions. 4 questions on this pop quiz. All right, question number 3. Where was the bus headed that Loki and Bartleby were on when Loki killed the adulterers?
West Bank, New Jersey? Was that correct?
It was not.
Oh.
It's on the front of the bus.
I don't remember.
It was headed to Chicago.
Yeah.
They were headed to Chicago.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the transfer. Yeah.
I heard her name is Wendy, and yes, she likes to blow trees. I guess I.
Who's
probably
that?
Well, I mean, I don't know if we need to promote this motherfucker, but
Oh, okay. Yep. Moving on.
Yeah.
well,
So-
I mean, Jesus is no. Sorry.
Okay.
What
Different
happened?
forms.
What happened to that?
Uh,
I used to be just a mega fan, and now I just could not.
say
stomach,
traumatic loss,
stomach,
head trauma,
like,
undiagnosed.
I just can't stomach that.
There was a time.
Yeah, there was a time. All right, last question, y'all. This is pretty silly. How much money does Christ owe Rufus?
$12.
It's $12.
Thank you.
That nigga owe me $12. Yeah. All right.
It's usually Big Rufus.
It's a little cold out. It's a little cold.
Oh, man.
Yeah, silly shit. All right, hey, so that's the pop quiz, and y'all got every single one of those. So
Good
Well,
stuff.
except for
Quiz.
Chicago.
well,
3 out of
Chicago.
4 ain't
Okay,
bad.
okay, that isn't bad. I forgot about Chicago. Yeah, so 3 out of 4. Yeah, 75%. Yeah, I can
bad.
dig it. That's a passing.
Yeah,
grade.
we're getting into heaven.
That's a passing grade. You're in there. You're in there. All right. So this like I said, this was my first time seeing this joint. Absolutely loved it, and I cannot wait to discuss it, and the wait is over. We're going to get into it. Okay, so Bartleby and Loki are fallen angels, eternally banished from heaven to Wisconsin for insubordination after an inebriated Loki resigned as the angel of death at Bartleby's suggestion. In a newspaper article that arrives anonymously, the angels discover a way home. Cardinal Ignatius Glick is rededicating his church in Red Bank, New Jersey, in the image of the Buddy Christ. Anyone who enters the church during the rededication festivities will receive a indulgence of remitting all sins.
That's what we just got.
Yeah. Where the banished angels to undergo this rite and then die in transmuting into human form, God would have no choice but to allow them re-entry into heaven. They are encouraged by the demon Azrael and the Stygian triplets, 3 teenage hoodlums who serve Azrael in hell.
What do they call the triplets?
I could have said that wrong.
Stygian?
Stygian.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there was definitely a lot of like weird doctrine words. I mean, I didn't know Golgath and shit even before.
So yeah, like this joint is silly. Dude gets snatched up, and then we're in the airport, right?
And Matt Damon.
Just-
Matt Damon is Loki, smacking gum the
Just
entire fucking
tearing
movie.
it up, tearing it up.
Chewing it up just like he's chewing the scenery.
Yes.
And we are introduced to Loki as he is talking to a nun and basically talks this nun out of taking the tithings that she has collected to the poor and needy and instead going and buying herself nice or hooking up with a man or woman or whatever.
Find a
And-
man or a lady.
just for a moment, you know, because
that's all we
really,
have.
That really what
Fleeting
life
moments.
is.
And
you know?
honestly, good writing by Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Very well delivered by all of them.
Yeah.
And I hope that nun is just somewhere else canonically in the View universe.
And you know,
having
it's-
her best life.
Yeah, having her best life, and it's real though. That's what life is moments.
It is.
You know, yeah, a collection of moments. So I dug it and like talks her right out of her faith.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
hilarious, absolutely hilarious.
And so they were describing, I believe Bartleby Affleck described airports as humanity at its best. But this whole scene, you know, clearly is a pre-9/11
pre-9/11.
airport.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they're just walking in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these guys are talking about genocides and murders constantly and
Yeah.
stuff. While they're, it's so funny because they always talk as if, not as if no one's listening, as if it doesn't matter. Because our lives are so like tiny and short to them.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like, you know, they
Yeah.
just. Although I do love that they've been in Wisconsin this entire time.
where they were-
All of
banished.
entire time.
Right. It was
We're banished to
that was a
Wisconsin.
question
is
that I
hilarious.
had later on, which we can go now if we want. But like,
Yeah.
Bartleby mentions later in the movie that like says 1,000 years, and so theoretically it could be 2,000 years as well. But like ever since Loki decides not to be the angel of death and they get banished from heaven, they're sent to Wisconsin. And what was Wisconsin like 1,000 years ago? Like completely different than obviously
Completely
what we think
different,
of
yeah.
in
Yeah.
the 1990s.
We're-
but
yeah.
But
Dealing with
speaking
Native
of things
Americans
being
and things, yeah.
Speaking of things being different, I do think that it's funny that, like, we'll get to the controversy or lack thereof about this film, but it's funny that the Catholic Church did take one thing from this film, which was rebranding. I'll post this into the chat and like on Instagram at some point, but this is Luce or maybe Luke. I do not know how to pronounce.
Could be Lucy.
Lucy. I do not know how
It's
to pronounce their name.
L-U-C-E for you
Interesting.
listeners. L-U-C-E.
Lucy was designed as a kid-friendly mascot for the Catholic Church's upcoming 2025 Jubilee year,
Wow.
which is all about hope, forgiveness, and holy pilgrimages.
Okay.
I think that's why it has some dirty boots, and it's wearing like a raincoat and has a walking stick. Okay. Luce means light in Italian, and the anime girl is designed to appeal to the youth of today have grown up watching One Piece.
All right.
Good Lord.
All right.
That is
how
a
you
statement
connect
from the
with the
Catholic
kids.
Church.
Who thought that out?
They need to bring the kids back.
I mean, it's no Buddy Christ, but that's pretty fucking clown.
No, that is, yeah.
And honestly, adorable. Nailed it. If that's what I walked into a church and saw instead of like a bleeding dude that's like sad because I touched myself once.
Sure, but I mean, is it not also a little tone deaf to be appealing to kids in a certain way with the history of the Catholic Church and children?
Hey.
Zebras don't change their stripes.
No, they don't. Sustained.
So Ed mentioned a bunch of the exposition, and without re-going back into that, the cool part about this Kevin Smith View Askew-niverse is that, like, the person who provides the exposition in the actual movie is a newscaster, and it's played by this actor Brian O'Halloran, and that's also Dante from Clerks, which now there's 3 Clerks
Dante.
movies. But
He was also in Mallrats on the dating show.
yep,
And I think that he
oh
works.
my god, so fucking
Yeah. I think he works at the comic book shop too, maybe.
that's great.
Yeah.
And Brody's just all over his ass the whole time they're on the show.
And then just one of those little things that is just like part of the clowning way to skewer religion and extremist religion type of people. But when the priest is giving announcements, he talks about a church verse pro-choice like softball game, league softball game. So you're getting your. I wonder if there's going to be.
I never caught that.
Anybody
Trevor.
clear in the dugouts?
I never caught that's what
Yeah.
else was being.
Getting beamed with a softball and charging the mound and really taking out your aggression.
I tell you, in a church league, if you get beamed with a soft, that is very, very, very intentional considering it's underhand. So
It's an underhanded.
yeah, a little floating pitch. So if you
Jeez.
get beamed, somebody really did not like you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's much better to just throw a baseball at a 70-year-old woman's face,
Yeah.
thinking she reminds you of a friend you knew at one point.
And putting some mustard on that.
Mustard on it. A little pepper. That's the old stuff. Yeah. The old stuff. You know, but so they get this letter. They don't know who it's from. Not at this point. They don't know who the letter came from. It's this newspaper clipping talking about the rededication at the Catholic Church and whatnot. And they found their loophole. It's pretty solid. They have a whole discussion on how it works because Loki is skeptical. Like what? Like this is human stuff. Like this is man-made stuff. Like it's fallible.
And then he reminds him of the book of what Peter was told by God is that whatever you say on earth is true in heaven. It's just so funny because there's so many edits. People talk about how true the Bible is
Right.
and stuff.
Right.
And no matter what you're reading, it's not what someone wrote down.
Right.
At that time, if any of this ever happened,
Yeah.
we can't read those words, even as Rufus proves later.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, y'all, I gotta ask this. I think
Yeah.
this is a fun time to ask this. I've recently seen this on Facebook, like within the last 2 days,
Okay.
and the post was like, "Why don't God just kill Satan?"
Yeah. Right.
And so the question becomes like, if God's got all this power, why is he putting up with this? Or
Yeah, I
why
mean,
are they putting up, like,
and it's
whoever
so-
or whatever God is? Like,
It's so funny how they
If you
come to that
control
in this
all.
movie too.
yeah, if you control all, why not just eliminate?
Yep.
I think the humble way to
Bored.
look at it is the universal, like, as above, so below, as within, as without type of shit. Like, if there's going to be one, then there's got to be the other.
Right.
And
Yeah.
recognizing, like, ourselves and our totality, where none of us are just going to be. We try to be as good as we can, but nobody's perfect.
Here's my proposal. I think you are correct in that.
Yeah.
But I think it's also a Cold War kind of thing. It's a unified enemies kind of scenario.
Okay.
That's how God can unify power much more easily and put out way more doctrine and commands. Is like, who the enemy is, right?
Yeah. Man.
That person that I funded.
I laughed. I thought it was a great question.
Yeah.
I like it.
And I would love to have a whole
God, just do it.
conversation with,
Yeah, if you want to come on the podcast, Metatron.
we have
anyway.
an open seat. Yeah. Yeah. We've got an open seat. So yeah. But they're fucking clowning. And then, this is it's also the scene we set it off of the recording, but where he convinces Loki, of this plan, and because of that, like that verse, they're like, damn, this is when your anal retention.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey,
Yeah. He's like, yeah, your anal retentiveness pays off finally. And then Loki pops back with like, you can't be anal if you don't have an
if
anus.
you don't have an anus, which is just a clowning ass line.
I do love this whole thing of like all of these, I guess they get called abstracts at some point, but non-humans just don't have genitals.
Yeah, the angels-
it's just
yeah,
like a whole different
yeah.
thing. They just don't.
Angels
don't.
don't have genitalia.
don't.
Yeah.
Or even a butthole, but
Alan
that probably means
Rickman
because
just-
they don't have like a digestive system. Like,
No.
who needs that?
Rickman standing there pantsless, just kind of like crotch out
So
towards,
cute.
Yeah.
with no crotch there,
What
like
he
a fucking
say?
Ken doll.
Like a Ken doll. Yeah, that is just, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Clowning. Yeah.
This feels
All
good.
right. So, what we neglected to say is in that opening scene that takes place in that park in New Jersey, that homeless gentleman is killed by one.
Well, they don't even see him homeless. It's just a skee ball fan. It's just a skee ball
yeah.
fan having a nice day at the pier.
Yeah.
Seems like
And,
an old person listening to a classic
Right.
Catholic hymn
Yeah.
and whistling.
Well,
Gets
it's
taken
more
out.
the identity list than
Yeah.
they're homeless or
Oh,
not.
right,
But the
because they
John
never find
Doe,
the John
there's
Doe.
no right.
Yeah, so they took him out with the hockey sticks, and that's their weapons. Like they skate around on rollerblades, and
That's a
beat
Kevin
people to
Smith
death.
thing.
Yeah.
Huge hockey fan
So yeah,
throughout his life. He said when we watched the film, he said, "Oh, I would have loved that when I was that age."
So, all right, and that brings us to Bethany Sloan,
Yeah.
a despondent abortion clinic counselor. Attends a service at her church in McHenry, Illinois. Donations are solicited for a campaign to stop a Red Bank hospital from disconnecting life support on John Doe, Jersey, a homeless man who was beaten into a coma by the triplets, Metatron, a seraph, and
Seraphim,
a seraphim,
the
They
highest
shorted-
court of angels.
they shorted it to seraph in this little plot synopsis here, but a seraphim, yes. And the voice of God appears to Bethany in a pillar of fire and explains that if Bartleby and Loki succeed in re-entering heaven, they will overrule the word of God, disprove the fundamental concept of God's omnipotence, and I said omnipotence, omnipotence.
Hey, we don't have to tell us how potent you are.
Yeah,
we get
look,
it.
Look. I'm high over here trying to read this. I ain't got my glasses and shit. and nullify all of existence. Bethany, aided by two prophets, must stop the angels and save the universe.
Snoochie Boogans.
So,
Also, I will say surprise shout out of a cameo of Janine Garofalo.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Very
right.
much enjoyed in the film. Very
Yeah.
quippy dialogue that
Yeah.
they have back and forth.
Yep.
It's pretty. I love Janine Garofalo.
Yeah.
We got to do Mystery Man.
Oh, I hated it, but yeah, we can
Yeah,
do
we
it.
got it.
We can do it. We can definitely do
wild.
it. Have y'all seen Four Rooms?
Oh yeah,
It's been
She's
too long.
she's in Four Rooms.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, she's in Four Rooms.
She's great.
and she's pretty good in it.
Very
Yeah.
good stand-up comic too. Been a fan of hers for years.
Yeah.
She's
No,
pretty
she's
cool.
good. I dig her. I dig her.
So, did either of you catch why Jay and Silent Bob were hanging out at the abortion clinic?
Yeah. Because they're pro-choice
Well, no,
and they're also
it's
pro-sex worker.
I believe Silent Bob said something like that's like where you're gonna get the most vulnerable. Like,
He says
it
women.
couldn't have been Silent Bob. It would have been.
well, not Silent Bob, but
Jay's
Jay. Yeah,
flapping
but
ass.
yeah. What,
I mean,
so what
the
did he
short
say?
answer is to pick up chicks.
To pick up chicks, yeah. And yeah, definitely ones that don't care about getting knocked up and, you know, like they like having sex and stuff. Like that's
It's so funny.
whole
They
logic
waver
there.
so quickly back and forth throughout this entire film from being so like it's very interesting because it reminds you of like prophets. That's how prophets are all the time. The prophet Elijah Muhammad. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of infidelity with these prophets. They're like, yeah,
Right.
okay, yeah, you can totally get an abortion.
Right.
I also will accept head.
Right.
And I do think it's fun because they beat up those teens.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun
Dude,
that
the
it's
teens are
off
trying to take
scene.
her out. So did they? So they obviously found out that the voice of God has given her a mission, right? Mm-hmm. So they do. They try to come take her out. Yeah.
Okay, because they know about the mission because we forgot about the part where Azrael makes sure that lady has air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was
Takes
gonna say,
over the house
yeah, takes
and-
over the house.
Shuffle her loose, the mortal coil.
Yeah.
Which, that's some Shakespearean shit
Yeah.
right there.
And then he says, no sin greater, no rapture purer than central air conditioning. And there's a point where I cannot disagree. I think that's also invented by a black man, like refrigerated trucks. Look into it.
Right. So yeah, so voice of God shows up at her apartment,
Mm-hmm.
you know, tells her that, you know, she has to, you know, do this mission to save humanity and whatnot. She's like, why me? Like, why not? It's really just, you know, I think it's just a test of her faith and everything.
It's the denial
like
of the
that.
call.
Yeah.
It's like classic hero story stuff.
Yeah. So so that's that. And then, you know, so it's nightfall. She's coming out the clinic, or did she go to the clinic, or is she
Well, they
coming
had
out the clinic?
tequila. Did they
Yeah,
already
they
have
had tequila. Yeah, no, they had
I think
tequila,
that's like
yeah.
it's a flash forward to the next night.
Yeah.
Like I think she had a full day.
Yeah.
And she's ending her day, and it happens
Right.
to be nighttime, and
Yeah.
she's attacked by the
Because,
Stygian.
yes, she is. Because now a target, Bethany, is attacked by the triplets, who are driven off by two foretold prophets. Yeah, she was told about some prophets from the voice of God. Who knew that it would be Jay and Silent Bob? But yeah. And the prophets are drug dealing stoners, Jay and Silent Bob. Bethany and the prophets are joined by Rufus, the 13th apostle, and Serendipity, the muse of creative inspiration, who now works at a strip club in search of inspiration of her own. Azrael summons the Golgothan, a vile creature made of human excrement, but Bob immobilizes it with aerosol air freshener.
Yeah, because he knows how to make stink go away.
Yeah.
He's so good. And okay, I like that he's got like a go-go gadget kind of self.
Oh yeah,
to him.
absolutely.
Rufus falls out of the sky. He gives him his coat,
Yeah.
even knowing that
That's
his
where-
junk might
yeah.
touch his armor.
Yeah.
He gives it away. Although I will call out a poppycock here. Here's my first poppycock.
All
They
right.
get to the movies. Rufus is giving the coat back to Silent Bob and just has clothes.
I think it's insinuated that he got clothes from the Lost and Found or from a dumpster behind
from somewhere,
movies.
maybe a thrift store or something.
Because they're definitely like not fitting or clean clothes.
They're not. But so in Casey's defense, as they're walking away, he states that he's hungry, and then the next time you see them, they're at the
movies.
restaurant.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I like that he's like, well, we just walk. We'll walk everywhere. Have you ever heard of a skinny apostle or a fat apostle?
A fat apostle.
It's like, well, yeah. Jesus was ripped.
Yeah.
He was hiking.
Well, and Rufus also comes out of this, falls out of the sky, basically immediately dropping jokes because Jay talks about, what is this, Con Air? And fucking Rufus just talks about how that's
so
a
great.
dog shit movie.
And also, it's like the car's all stopped and everything after like Jay fucks up the gears.
Yeah.
And he's like, guys like us just don't fall out of the sky. And then Rufus does fall. And then he goes, big titty bitches don't just fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
We're the tribe.
Now, I gotta say
tribe.
this.
It's a prosthetic.
I'm not on the official record, like it's not on an episode, but y'all know in our talks and stuff like that, I have called Con Air a dog turd of a movie. So
Con Air to me, without going too deep, could be something in the 4 to 5 Poppycock range of ridiculousness, while I still fucking love it.
no, I get it. Yep. Yeah, I get it.
I withhold.
But yeah, so
I like how
we're moving on.
Rufus also calls Silent Bob both Biggie and Big Papa, which
Right.
I
got a
know
bunch of
those
them.
were
Right.
not written in the fucking script.
Right.
And babe and like all kinds of
All
stuff.
kind of silly shit. Yeah.
And too bad for Rufus is that Jesus taught him about the resurrection, but he forgot.
He got drunk. And it's great too because I like Rufus's character because if you're thinking about all the apostles, there's that whole story of like he was left out of the Bible because of the blackness and everything.
Yeah.
But also you could see how a Rufus is a good person to have around.
Yeah.
He's got a great kind of moral compass. He's willing to actually make goals and follow things through. He's not really trying to hurt anybody, and he's really a good time to be with. You could totally see chatting him up and getting so drunk that you tell him about the resurrection.
He said Jesus was
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Which is obviously fucking true. If there ever was a
Threw
Jesus.
big fucking boulders at me.
Yeah. Oh, you were a miter? He was like, yeah, you could call it that. Call it getting killed to death with big fucking rocks. Oh, man.
Yeah, no, Chris Rock came in clowning as Rufus.
And then he does that whole thing of like talking about how we have the dead, and then we also have the watcher angels like Bartleby that are just observing humans constantly. And he lays out that creepy shit.
Oh, about watching people have sex because that's where
It's
hilarious.
Yeah.
But also peeing in that, like the peeing in the hair thing, and then telling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A story that nobody could have possibly known.
Yep.
And I thought that was really good
tell me
acting.
stuff about me, like you jack off more than anybody. Like, well, everybody knows that.
When you do it, you're thinking of guys.
Not all the
It's
time.
not all the
bro.
time.
I've watched a lot of like interviews with both of them, and canonically, Jay and Silent Bob are both pretty fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they're very much a hole's a hole kind of.
There you go.
Holes are holes in the dark.
Yeah, and Bob's mouth isn't just for being silent.
Right. Right.
That was a quote of his.
And that brings us to the strip club that they find the muse in, aka Serendipity.
Yes.
And we was talking about this, when we was taking a break. It's absolutely clowning. they're in a total like tip off against another group of guys in this strip club as the muse played by Selma Hayek is on stage dancing, and she's like back and forth like who's gonna come with the most money, who's gonna get the attention, and they're in a total like bidding war for her attention.
Can I admit something to both of you, my dear friends?
Yeah, go for it.
I've never been to a strip club. I had different kinds of relationships with strippers. It's the same reason I'm not a big fan of the Colts. I don't need to get worked up for nothing.
Yeah,
but
that's fair. That's a great way.
Is that a thing that happens?
Great logic. Oh, absolutely. Why do you think
the tip off?
Oh,
that's real.
But not like it went down in this movie. I just real quick before we get into the tip offs, it's clowning that she's dancing a candy girl. Like this is childhood, like New Edition.
Well, and she does have the fucking pigtails while she's up on stage.
Yeah.
There's a lot of playing into that. There's a lot of
that's true.
Infantilizing.
There's a lot of pigtails.
Looks like a very grown woman.
There's a lot of pigtails in Kevin Smith films.
Yeah.
His wife has them when she's a part of the Clip Brigade.
Yeah, I think it gives an innocence type of.
It's that, and
vibe.
it's Harley Quinn stuff too.
Yeah. Well, and it's one thing if it's like the pigtails like sticking straight out of the head in a certain way. Like, there's also a way to do braids that could be on each side.
Yeah.
I think that can frame the face quite well.
The Pippi Longstockings.
Oh, I'm a pigtail wearer. I do a lot of pigtails
Pippi
personally.
Longstockings,
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, but in regards to tip off at the strip clubs, so not in the same way that they did it in this film, but with a group of like people around a stage, the person throwing the most dollars will get the attention of the person that's on the stage, and they will come and directly dance in front of them and do different stuff. You know what I mean? To get them to throw even more and more money.
Y'all got to take me sometime.
Well, and then what's kind of...
I'm friends with sex workers. I don't mind that at all.
Well, and I wasn't even...
No.
I was going to go back to
great.
the Muse Serendipity. I was...
Yeah.
Insofar as that, like... I don't think I necessarily really understood it until today, but like that whole tip-off thing is her being inspiring. Like, not only is she obviously beautiful and like...
Yeah.
But it's also like she is a muse where... She was, inspired the people who are responsible for 19 of the 20 top-grossing films.
Not including Home Alone. Someone sold their soul to Satan for that one.
Thank you, Casey.
I think you're right, though. She is inspirational because she also points out, like, those guys didn't fight after that tip-off or anything.
Yep.
No, they were partying together.
Yeah, they're having
a great time.
To the point that when they fight a Golgothan demon... Those men are willing to risk their lives for their newfound friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what a muse does.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Serendipity's whole thing is that then, she was doing all of the work while getting none of the credit. So when she strikes off on her own, she experiences writer's block. And so that's why she is stripping, and it's that she can provide amazing inspiration as the muse for other people, but not necessarily herself. But I do like a lot of the stuff that she brings up with like the whole Bible being gender biased, and then also as seeing God as a blessing, not a burden. Like there is some depth to what Salma is saying. And
talking about how the Bible is edited for people's specific intentions. And that's the same thing Rufus is talking about too.
And that's, while we're talking about Rufus, like when Rufus was talking about Jesus, the only real beef with mankind that Jesus had was that the shit that gets carried out in his name. Wars, bigotry, televangelism.
Yeah.
But then also the
fuck
factioning.
Televangelists, for real.
Yeah,
like
no,
you're an absolute piece of shit if you're doing that kind of stuff. That's incontrovertible. Yeah, God.
Agreed. And the factioning of all religions, and it was taking a good idea and made a belief system out of it. And then that continues on to, you can change an idea, changing a belief is trickier.
I love that. Chris Rock gets to fucking nail this. I was telling them, will link this. I watched an interview with Kevin Smith and Charlie Rose and Chris Rock, and it's very, very good shit. It's very inspiring.
Yeah. Speaking of, Chris Rock, I wanted to shout this out during the Real Basic Facts, and just never got the opportunity to. He's the only comedian to do both SNL and In Living Color.
Nice anecdote. Ed.
Wait, what? No way.
Yeah, he was on both.
Yeah, Jim Carrey was on both.
Was Jim Carrey on SNL? When was he on SNL?
Guest hosting.
Well, no.
Cast member.
He was a cast member.
Cast member. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I know Damon Wayans was
like,
on there, but
Wayans,
I don't
too.
think Damon ever made it to air. Like,
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, he was over there, and
He could really do anything. It's very
absolutely.
interesting to like have such a depth of career and have so much self-awareness and like, I don't know, it's pretty dope.
yeah,
Most
no
of
doubt.
the time.
No doubt. We're gonna have to do something.
Sometimes there's,
we're gonna have to do a Wayans film. We're just going to have to.
Ooh.
No, absolutely.
Keeping with the theme of Damon, at least.
Yes.
One of the things with Bartleby and Loki, because you kind of have these two separate paths that are going to eventually meet.
Yes.
And we have Bartleby and Loki and the movie Boardroom Massacre.
Man.
Where, this is just something where it's like you love seeing the iniquity of all these corporate America fat cats revealed in this scene where they've all done this evil shit. And, clearly movies a substitute for Mickey insofar as that this is.
But also
aimed to-
McDonald's
Oh,
and also
absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
the golden calf of capitalism
yeah,
and stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Great subliminals.
It's got a voodoo doll that's an onion and smashes it in front of the head fucking like, I don't believe in voodoo.
I don't believe in voodoo.
Walks away, comes back in, but I do believe in this.
Just shoots everybody except the one young lady. He's like, "You're cool. You're a good person."
But you didn't
But
say
you
God
didn't
bless.
say God bless you when I sneezed.
Yeah.
He was gonna do her in. He was gonna do her. Bartleby saved her.
It was so interesting too.
He was
'cause,
gonna
like,
do it.
Yeah,
Like,
he was definitely
You're
gonna
getting
do
off
it.
easy. That's what he told her. You're getting off easy.
Well, yeah, because Loki, let us not forget, he said like his favorite pastime. He was like, genocide is one of the most harrowing things that the body can go through, aside from playing soccer. This is his thing.
Yeah.
Once he gets started,
He's the angel of death.
he's probably not going to stop anytime
He was the
soon.
angel of death.
And
Yeah,
they
this
lay
is his
down
thing.
too. It's probably a little earlier in this movie, but they talk about how there's not been another angel of death since.
Yeah.
So it's like God made a change at that point too, kind of. Now where they just like create, let us make nukes and stuff. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I don't either. Child cancer.
The gun.
Yeah, right.
The gun that Loki was using was purchased at a gun shop from then another Clerks cameo. The person who is Dante in those movies, Jeff Anderson, was the sales clerk of that.
Yeah.
But we're getting towards the train, right?
The train. We're at the train. That's a good call. Because on a train to Red Bank, a drunken Bethany reveals her mission to Bartleby, who tries to kill her. Bob throws the angels off the train. Bartleby and Loki now realize the consequences of their scheme. Loki wants no part of destroying all existence, but Bartleby remains angry at God for his expulsion and for granting free will to humans while demanding servitude from angels, and resolves to proceed. Which is a fair fucking point from Bartleby.
I mean, they're all kind of trying to get to their senses at this point and being a little bit more honest. And here's the thing: Bartleby has done this kind of thing before. Bartleby's very convincing.
But I was talking about the fact that humans get free will and angels have to be in servitude.
And
but our free will ain't working out all that
genitalia.
great.
Yeah.
No, I feel it, but
Yeah.
but
also
I
I think that he's using that still as a
why are
smoke
these
screen.
beneath us? They're not even on the squad. They're
I
not
think-
even part of the team. Why is it that they get all this free reign, but we're held to these rules and stuff?
Well, and I feel like that's a smoke screen because he knows that his end goal is actually to try to end existence. Like it's depression. That's what he's going through. Is like, no one should exist. Nothing should exist.
I mean, what would Peter Parker, Spider-Man, say? With great power comes great responsibility. I guess that was actually his uncle. Who said
Yeah, I was
that
gonna
to
say.
him.
I thought he was gonna say, "Oops, Mary Jane."
So we do have the first time, one of the only 2 times that we hear Silent Bob not be silent. Could either of my other co-hosts say which movie Silent Bob
I know
was?
at the end of Mallrats, he quotes Yoda.
Sure.
So that's a good one.
Excitement.
I got
Jedi
it.
craves not these things.
He says no ticket, and I believe he is quoting Indiana Jones.
And The Last Crusade.
And The Last
yes,
Crusade,
the,
yes.
On the blimp when
No
Harrison Ford's
ticket.
tossing them off. Yeah.
So,
No shit. I'm trying to work on
when
my Harrison Ford.
When he's talking, he's quoting some Lucas,
Yes,
some George Lucas.
sometimes. There's a lot more in Chasing Amy, apparently.
Okay.
Well, and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, like Empire Strikes
Yeah.
Back. Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
certainly throughout.
Oh yeah. And I can't be mad at Kevin Smith for being a stan of George.
So
Lucas.
he said that initially he wasn't going to be Silent Bob. He was going to be a different part. And then eventually he realized he wasn't going to be able to learn all those lines. He was like, who the fuck wrote all this shit? I'm not going to remember all this. But he still wanted to be in the film. So he swapped parts with someone else that had like a small role.
I love it.
Took over the Silent Bob thing. And then he said that he could work with Jason Mewes, who had never acted before, and just kind of puppet him. Like they play so well together. They have such a good friendship. They've known each other. Kevin Smith was like 16 or 17, and Jason Mewes was like 13 or 14 when they met.
And you can see that chemistry on screen
Oh,
very
absolutely.
easily. Like
Yeah,
it's a natural, like just the dialogue between everybody. It comes off as snappy, but also fantastical, but also like all makes sense and is grounded in the reality of the universe that it's being created in.
Yeah.
And so
Because
it's
it's
just
based on there's so much backbone to it. Yeah, you're right.
Absolutely. And can I take the time to say that I prefer like fat Kevin Smith to now.
Well, he
healthier
still
Kevin
he had a heart thing, so he actually started going vegan for his daughter
I
because
can-
she like
I can
introduced
totally
him.
dig it. Hey.
But
Yeah,
eventually-
no, I'm not knocking anybody's healthy life choices and living a healthier life. It's like Cedric the Entertainer said in The Kings of Comedy when talking about Luther Vandross. He's like Big Luther, not Little Luther.
Well, fair on that one.
Yeah, give me
Yeah.
Big Luther.
I'll give you that.
So get that's all. But I'm always hey, get your health, keep the health going.
So earlier in this episode, we were talking about Linda Fiorentino doing it for us in Men in Black, and not as much in this movie for Ed, besides he mentioned one scene, which was where she initially met Metatron and was in her nightwear.
Yes.
So what I was actually referring to is when, after this scene on the train, there's the crisis of faith, and Bethany runs off and falls into a big thing of water where she's basically completely engulfed in water. And so
and that scene goes on for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know about belief or faith or whatever, but the idea of Bethany winning a wet t-shirt contest certainly crossed my mind during watching that scene.
Faith. Yeah.
This is where she learns that she is the last scion, which is the last living relative of
Down the bloodline,
Yeah.
last of the bloodline. That
thought it
Jesus
was-
was technically her uncle,
I gotcha.
which they do a very good job of not letting slip. They just keep saying, even Metatron is like, Bethany's like, why is this me? Why am I chosen? And Metatron's like, because of who you are. And then he just tries to move on. And they just do a good job of kind of covering that up because what kind of weight?
Yep.
But also she's had that crisis of faith to the point that I don't know if she's at a point where she doesn't believe in heaven or hell or anything, but she definitely is like, I don't care about this life.
No. Yeah.
She even says at one point when they're in the Mexican restaurant and Metatron's spitting out tequila, she's like, where was God when a cyst killed my uterus and stuff? And where was God when my husband said that he couldn't be with someone that couldn't bear a child and stuff? And
Fair question.
yeah. And that's that crisis of faith stuff that she's kind of been going through. We even saw it at the very beginning of the church where they're talking about a John Doe that needs a couple dollars for life support. and then she just gets up and they go through the motions.
Yeah.
She's kind of still doing it up until this point. Like, I mean, I don't know if she ever really fights back, but
Yeah. But no, it's a fair, fair question.
Step.
Fair question. So she discovered, she's the last scion, and then the next the plot point here says the group cannot persuade Glick to cancel the celebration. Jay steals one of Glick's golf clubs. Their only remaining option is to keep the angels out of the church, but Azrael and the triplets trap them in a bar to prevent them from doing so. Azrael reveals that he sent the news clippings to the angels. He would rather end all existence than spend eternity in hell. Bob kills Azrael with the golf club, which Glick has blessed to improve his game. Bethany blesses the bar, sinks contents, and the others drown the triplets in the holy water. They race to the church where Bartleby has killed Glick, his parishioners, and assorted bystanders when Loki, who was now wingless and therefore mortal with a conscience, attempts to stop him. Bartleby kills him as well.
shout out to the drowning the triplets in the bar sink thing.
Yeah.
No lie, there have been times when I was like bartending and you're closing at the end of the night and the mind just wanders. And I'm like, if some zombies came in here, I could at least one of them on that spinny thing.
Yeah.
I'm taking one of them out on the spinny thing at least.
So, and we're also talking about drunk Damon as Loki, and Loki Damon was hilarious really throughout this whole movie. Drunk at the end, but then also earlier getting off the bus. What was he doing?
Fucking clowning, man. What was it? Rev's house? Yeah, that he was singing, and what was the other joint?
Which just completely comes out of left field.
Out of left field, like they were fucking clowning making this, and
they were having a very good time.
I wonder, is that Damon off the top of the head? You think he improv that?
I think that Damon did mix those songs up on the spot. That maybe he was told to do one or the other by Kevin Smith, because I could see that happening. But yeah, he just put those things together.
And he was so happy because he just smoked this adulterer on the bus.
And he was right. It wasn't adult. Here's the Poppycock, though. I do call Poppycock on this.
All right.
And this might stand. Why the fuck didn't they drive the bus?
There were a bunch of dead bodies on it.
There was one dead body.
Yeah,
he only killed the one. It was only the one retribution.
Okay.
You only heard the gun go off once.
Yeah. And no, but everybody ran off
like
the
they
bus,
care about being around dead human bodies.
Fair enough.
That's fair enough.
I think that's a
fair.
Poppycock.
I think the Poppycock is assuming that no married man kisses his wife that way.
Yeah, that is wild.
On a bus going across the country.
Had they never heard of Molly?
Good point.
I'm with Loki on this one.
On a bus, I can see that.
The only time is when it's about to jump off or it's the anniversary or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I do realize that there are married couples, that keep it like nice and spicy and whatnot in the bedroom and stuff, and actually are head over heels in love with one another.
Mm-hmm.
But once that honeymoon phase wears off, I know,
dude. My grandmother and grandfather.
For me, there was times I would just look over with the curled Elvis lip, my fucking nerves.
Dude, my grandmother and grandfather on my dad's side, both now passed, were like 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Still, every Christmas, she was always sitting on his lap, doing other things, but then just sitting. They were
adorable.
always.
No.
It was just it was never.
And it's great to see the ones like that.
It's pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
It's great to see the ones.
Yeah. But
I
not
don't
if
know
Loki's
I don't know,
around.
I don't know how long the honeymoon phase is supposedly supposed to last, but I do have my 5-year anniversary coming up this year.
Come on, 5 years.
Ooh, have y'all
But,
kissed yet?
Hit the nickel.
We might do some things sometimes,
Okay.
but I do feel fortunate to not really ever have situations where I'm looking over, I'm like, this motherfucker.
Man. Yeah, you are.
You know what's great for that? Therapy and divorce.
Yeah.
These things exist.
Yeah. That
It's
is
totally fine.
Very, very true.
It's
very,
okay.
Very true. But hey, drunk Loki with the wings missing
Yeah.
is fucking
So
clowning.
sad.
It's sad, but it's still fucking clowning. Like Matt Damon just ate this role up.
Yeah.
He ate this role up.
And we've got Bartleby dropping bot. Oh, but also at this point, we have the prophecy almost comes to pass.
Bringing it back from when earlier in the coffee shop, I do believe Bethany agreed that if there were just 5 minutes left
5 minutes.
before the world ended, that she
Or
would,
or a bomb blew up or
Yeah,
something.
that.
she would have sex with
She would
Jay
have sex,
and
yeah.
Silent Bob.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Silent
you see,
Bob's not there.
You see good friendship because what you see is Silent Bob. We're getting to like a climax of like everyone trying to attack Bartleby and stuff. But Silent Bob taps Jay out, and Jay is suspiciously silent as he secures Bethany and also starts fucking getting his pants
Yeah.
off real fucking quick.
Just silly. Just fucking silly.
He's so helpful, but he's also he's trying so hard to pick up on social cues and also accept no. But then there's like a kiss, like she kisses him because like he really does kind of save her from the fray.
Yeah.
But she's also like, no, that still doesn't mean we're fucking yet. And
Right.
he's like, I'm trying.
Right.
I'm trying to do this right.
But the enthusiasm he was speaking with when like the world's about to end, but he's just so pumped because bro's getting laid.
They just about to get
Yeah.
laid.
Made an agreement. That was the
Yeah.
And it was like, is this not what we
It's crazy.
we brought you with us and everything? It's so great.
Because when all appears lost, Jay attempts to seduce Bethany before all existence ends. When he mentions John Doe Jersey, Bethany finally puts all the clues together. She and Bob race across the street to the hospital as the others try to keep Bartleby from entering the church. But in doing so, Jay destroys his wings with automatic gunfire.
Which is kind of a badass scene. I gotta admit, it looked pretty cool.
Yep, making him mortal as well. Her father restored, her faith restored. Bethany disconnects John's life support, liberating God, but killing herself. Bartleby reaches the church entrance where he confronts God, manifested in female form, who annihilates him with her voice. Bob arrives with Bethany's lifeless body. God resurrects her and conceives a child, the new last scion within her womb. God, Metatron, Rufus, and Serendipity return to heaven, leaving Bethany, Jay, and Silent Bob to reflect on the past and the future. Roll credit.
Okay, so here I have so that's what I keep hearing, and that's what I think we're supposed to understand, is that she regains her faith. I call Poppycock. I
Okay.
disagree. What is faith with absolute proof? That's the opposite of
That's
faith.
the opposite.
That's a good point.
That's a
That's
very
not
great
faith
point.
at all.
That's a very great point.
I don't
Casey.
think that, and I think that it's an interesting point that this movie is making is like, then what do we call faith and everything? If we say that she regained her faith, but she also has this proof, as the angels do, as the muse does, all these people that believe in God, but still like live in earth and also are willing to like sacrifice all of existence. What is it worth to know God? Like, what's the difference? There's so much time before she even knows that she's a scion where she knows that she's supposed to do this holy crusade.
Yeah.
And she's still just kind of going throughout life. Like,
Right.
there's not that, because what's the difference?
Sure.
Here's my question. Are you part of the crew now? Like, can you go out and just like loosely fuck and do all of the things?
Who?
Bethany.
What do you mean?
Well, now that like she's the scion,
She didn't have to agree to anything.
she didn't have to, but she did it. But I'm saying now that she has done it, saved humanity, she's been given new life, literally.
Yep, she's got a baby in
resurrected,
her.
and now she's got the baby. The baby's got to go live on to be the new scion. Can Bethany go out there and like get dick?
I think it's a
before
Sarah Connor
marriage
kind of
and-
thing. Oh yeah. Oh, I don't think that'll ever matter.
so
Jesus
she's not bound
was
by
hanging
the-
out with
she's not
sex
bound by
workers
the
and
rules.
stuff too, just like our scion that
Yeah.
we're looking at.
Okay.
It's the
So
same.
I do have an idea.
Okay, please.
And maybe the faith comes from. So now Bethany knows all these things, but who can she share this information with who's going to believe her, who hasn't necessarily experienced the same shit? Because,
Yeah, that's true.
the character of God fixes all the deaths that happen around the church massacre. And so, like, now Bethany's growing up having earlier in her life had a cyst where she was not
Yeah.
able to have a
Right.
kid.
Right.
And now she's like immaculately
How do you
receptive
explain
with
this
the
to
kid.
the whole family?
Right. And so then it's got to be like,
Oh my
maybe
God, I
she
didn't even
knows,
think about
she
that.
knows, but then she can't necessarily share that information with other people. So the faith has to be in that she's still going to provide this service to humanity beyond what she's already done.
Okay, well let's get to the meat let's get to the meat and potatoes of this thing.
All right.
Does being the scion come with like any kind of benefits? Does she have a stipend? Does she have to go back
That's
to
what
work
I'm
at the
saying.
abortion
That's what I'm
clinic?
saying. Like
We know that
what-
she can bless
what has she
water.
gained so
Did
she can
bless
bless
water.
water.
Yeah, I don't know what the other benefits are.
So
to
you can cure poisons and diseases, probably.
And is she guaranteed an entry into the pearly gates now?
Oh yeah.
Or can she fall off and end up in hell? Like
Oh, everyone can end up in hell. That's what this movie is
So
telling
that's-
us.
so,
And
yeah,
literally,
I've got
it's
questions.
just God has to say it. And then
I've
you're
got
literally stuck there in hell or on earth until the end. They even say at some point that Loki and Bartleby will have to sit at the end of time, in the end of existence, that they would have to sit outside the pearly gates.
and
And it's like, God,
Hey,
I
peace
like the
with-
cartwheels and everything, but come on.
I got all like shit. Like now the wheels are just turning in the head.
Let's go.
Yeah. So
Just like the
continuing on
squeaky
with
wheels
the
of a
science,
tank we heard
so-
recently.
Right. Oh my God. But continuing on with the scion.
Yes.
Okay. You said it earlier, between faith and like now knowing exactly what it is. So she can't speak on it or anything like that. We don't know that
She
she
can do
can't, but
anything.
No, I'm just saying we don't know. What I'm saying is she
Oh,
can't is because folks are going to think she's fucking batshit crazy.
Right.
Oh yeah.
All the people that still got
Oh, yeah.
faith, finger quotes, that
Yeah.
don't know the real.
Even Metatron lays
Well,
that out
look
at the
at,
beginning when he says anybody that's ever said that they were speaking to God was speaking to me or talking to themselves.
or talking to themselves.
Maybe the faith comes from Bethany having her memory erased in the Men in Black movies, and so then she just has to learn it all over again.
That's what it is. That's what happened.
Oh,
Although I do think Men in Black came out before Dogma, so that's
yeah.
I mean, what's time to
But that's
God?
What's
when her,
time?
was the memory
nothing
erased
but a
in
flat
Dogma,
circle, right?
And what's a goon
But-
to a goblin?
But I just, I've got questions. So, like you got the folks like Brigham Young, who swore he had these tablets and whatnot with these
They could read with a special hat. Oh yeah.
Somebody like myself is say that dude is out of this fucking mind.
Actually,
And
you're
then,
talking
you
about
know-
Joseph Smith. Brigham Young said, "Get him young." That was that was.
So, but without shitting on too many different religions surround that's based off Christianity, when you do have you've got your followers, but the vast majority of people that believe in God and Christ and everything, they think somebody like that is just out their fucking mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wonder
well,
why that,
yeah.
and I just wonder why this is why can't this person be one of the chosen?
I mean,
that
that's the story.
actually
That's
is
why
a
Jesus
direct-
gets slain. It's that kind of thing.
So-
and even trying to push ideas, like we said, instead of beliefs.
Yeah. But
That's that kind of shit that gets you put
yeah.
asunder.
But
that's
that's
Fred Hampton.
That's exactly why I say though that Bethany, there's no way in hell she could go out and speak of her experiences.
Right.
No, she's got to hang
They'll
out
have
with the
her in a
stoners,
straitjacket and a Looney
and she's
Bin
got to hang
somewhere.
out with. I mean, Metatron's probably not going to hang out very much, and also the spitting would be annoying in the fire.
No.
But hanging out with Silent Bob and Jay.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to try to be stepdads.
Yeah, definitely.
But at least they'll be the dads that stepped up.
No. So
Is now the
CG
time?
videos.
Is now the time where? So we're not actually going to do a Dreamcast segment.
No,
This
no
is
Dreamcast.
still
No.
within the analysis of the film, but we have not yet said the name of who God was portrayed.
that's
by.
Yeah, we
very,
did.
very true. No, we
In
didn't. We
Dogma.
gave a
We did.
clue. We gave a clue.
I thought you did.
No, we just
But-
gave a clue.
It
Regardless of
sounds
any
familiar.
of that, well, I mean that's more. We can come out with that, but
Yeah.
this was more the question of. So Alanis Morissette is who
That is who played God.
plays God,
Yes.
and it's great having her. Like, I think it's a smart choice to have her with a non-speaking role, being the singer
Right.
that she is while
Right.
we're hearing this music.
Yes.
But this was one of those questions that kind of came up during the production meeting outside. Would not would not the mother of humanity be
That is fucking me all the way up. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, it's a
I
reminder.
was trying to cue
Oh, are
to
you still
to
thinking
turn
about
it to-
her going
no.
down on?
I just couldn't hardly hear what
the
Trevor
guy that
was
with
saying
the
because
beaver
Alanis
puppets.
is behind me. You know.
But we were basically saying, could the mother of humanity or God or whatever, like certainly being portrayed by a woman makes sense. But then we were thinking, like, wouldn't it make even more sense to be portrayed by a black woman? As in,
black
like,
woman,
where-
native woman, something like.
Well, I think
Yeah.
back
I
to the
feel-
birthplace of humanity, where first
Yeah,
humans came
yeah,
from.
Africa. Africa.
But exactly.
It's absolutely traced
Right.
back to Africa. So I get exactly what you're saying.
So then we did discuss a couple options
Yes,
for
we
who
did.
we would have also loved to see play
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I landed on the one and only Erykah Badu.
Which is hard to argue with and
Agreed.
almost anyway. What was the other one that I said? Lisa Bonet.
Lisa
Lisa
Bonet
Bonet,
was
yeah,
one of
came
them.
to
Oh,
mind.
Yeah, she's got that organic cosmic. Like, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but she's got
I
that
mean, I
vibe.
liked
and
Organic
that,
Cosmic.
like,
That was
yeah,
cool
like,
as shit.
but she just gives that off. She's always had the dreads, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Very
everything of
inspiring.
her about her says of the earth.
Yeah.
Gravitas.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I liked Erykah Badu because I honestly,
she's
I
fun as
had, well, that obviously. I had come in with the idea of maybe Janelle Monáe, but then was thinking who would be, you know, and when Ed said Erykah Badu, I'm like, that's it. In the Reel Poppycock Dreamcast, get Miss Badu.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna throw one down, and then I'm
one
gonna run
out
to the
there.
bathroom because this is gonna be worth it.
All right.
Jack Black.
Jack Black.
That's worth walking away.
I don't know. So here's my thing, though. Here's the thing about Jack Black. Hasn't he already played Krampus or something like that? Like, Jack can't he be
Oh, and the
God
Tenacious D.
Well,
fucking-
no. Like, he just did that. He literally just came out with a movie where he is like, yeah, he's the Krampus. He's hanging out with the kid. I can't remember what's it called. Let me pull it up here. I'm gonna pull it up here. It literally just came out, Trevor. I thought you would have you would have my back on this one.
Well, when I think of Silent Night with David Harbour, but the Krampus.
That one was good. Silent Night was really good. It's called Dear Santa. Yeah, it came out in 2024.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So when a young boy mails his Christmas wish list to Santa with one crucial spelling error, instead of it saying Santa, it said Satan, a devilish Jack Black arrives to wreak havoc on the holidays. Yeah. Dear Santa. I have not seen it, but it's Jack Black. I'm sure he's brilliant in it because he's Jack Black. So Jack Black can do no wrong. I
that's the thing.
think I've said that before. Jack
He's
Black can do
eternal.
no
He's got a weird eternalness to him.
Yeah, Jack Black can do
Whether he's
zero
relevant or irrelevant, there is always somehow a Jack Black.
zero wrong. But I'll tell you what, Poppycock listeners, I do want to know who you would cast as God. The female, all
Or non-gender.
or non-gender. You're right. Or
We did throw out
non-gender.
Elbow Day. I don't
You're
know.
absolutely
I don't know
right.
if they're non-binary.
But who do you believe would be a good God entity? Who do you think would play that?
Yeah,
Let
I
us
won't say what. Well, I'll say our host for hosting us in the studio today, Una. I
Oh.
won't say
Oh,
what hers were, but they were absolutely stellar
oh.
and very.
Well, one of them.
If we say one, we say both.
We
But I
can
would
say- we
speak on
can
her behalf,
say
but
both.
she nailed
So,
it. She
to
nailed
set
it.
this up, like she had no idea what we were talking about
Correct.
whatsoever. We were deep into this conversation when she ended up showing up. In
She
the
has yet
room.
to see the film.
Yeah, and she has not seen this film, so we asked her like, who would you have, play God in a film? And like damn near without hesitation, she's like, probably some kid in Gaza,
That was her first.
Yeah,
answer,
that was
some
her
kid in
first
Gaza.
answer, some
I was
kid
like, that
in
is the
Gaza.
hometown.
I
So
like that is. I was like, but then I go on to say, like, if that was the case, like, why would they let their own people just be in this bullshit that they're in?
Always the
Like, I was
question.
just like, that's fair. And then in a complete 180.
Also, we said celebrity at this point. We're like, yeah, go celebrity direction.
We kind of gave her some, perspective, and then she proceeds to say, Martha Stewart.
That's her second pick. Child in Gaza, runner up.
Martha Stewart. Like, wow.
Well, the fun part about if Martha Stewart is God, then Snoop is Jesus.
Oh, damn near. Like, gotta be, right?
Friends with Chris Rock.
Right?
I bet they're friends.
Right? Him and Rufus are the homies.
Owes someone $12.
That nigga owed me
Do you
$12.
believe that Snoop owes somebody $12? I totally. Son of a bitch.
my
That's
goodness.
so spot on.
Yeah. But yeah, so no, let us know. Let us know who you would cast as God. Like,
Yeah, what if God were one of us?
what? Let's just
And not just any Joan Doe, parentheses,
stranger on
Osborne.
the bus.
What if that stranger on the bus was Loki? What if the stranger on the bus is Loki? You can see how like Kevin Smith puts this film together. I feel like he's a very inspirational person in a whole lot of ways because he is.
Oh my
like I said
God.
at the beginning, he just takes an idea, runs with it. Let's take it as far as we can take it.
I'm sorry, you've got that shitty song stuck in my head now. Who did that shit?
I'm sorry.
Who's the bitch that was responsible for that song? What was her name?
The joke I was making, I believe it's Joan Osborne. So when I said Jane Doe, it's Joan, not Jane.
The one that ate the bat?
That's
No,
Ozzy.
no, that's Ozzy. Yeah,
It was a
and
one-hit
no,
wonder to
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. And yeah, God is good. Oh my gosh.
There's like a whole time.
That song is going to be stuck in my head for the next 3 days. Thank you.
There was a whole
We'll
time
break
there
it
in the
out.
90s where Christian rock was like falling over. We got Creed out of that. We had
Poppycock on
MXPX.
Creed.
Poppycock.
Fuck Creed. Fuck Creed.
Ahmet's got stabbed once.
Why did he
working at
put
Deer Creek.
R's? Why did he put R's in his word? Oh, bro.
I don't know. Why did he speak?
Now,
Moving on.
getting off of this, one thing that
is not a god.
Ed not being a fan of the MCU, we do have a Matt Damon in, I believe, the second Thor movie in the area of Asgard, which is Thor's homeland.
Both of them. Both of
Thor
them.
and Loki. There's a play representation that's supposed to be of what happened on Earth with Thor and Loki, and Matt Damon is playing Loki in this fucking
And Ben
Thor 2
Affleck
movie.
is Thor.
I thought it was Hemsworth's brother who was Thor.
Oh. That's both of them. It's Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Yeah.
Are we sure?
Are we sure?
I didn't
Well,
know
yeah,
that.
because they come out later in the fourth film too. There's a part where they're in Asgard and they're talking about putting on play. They're recurring.
I was
It's
just
weird.
curious. I didn't know you could do both DC and
They can do whatever they
Marvel.
want, man.
We'll check that one.
Yeah.
But we're getting close to the roundup, are we not?
I think we're there. I think we've hit that.
Are we
point.
rounding up?
I think
Round
we've
'em
hit
up.
that point of the episode where it's time for the Poppycock. First, we're gonna watch this movie, and then we're gonna talk about it, and then we're gonna rate it, and then we're gonna rate it.
Fantastic.
And
So
for
the
new
Poppycock meter is a way that we rate
Yes,
movies.
that is it.
We call it golf, not bowling.
Yes.
We're going from a 1 to a 5, a 1 being real genius, and a 5 being real poppycock. Not that it's a complete shitty movie, although that can happen. Notable cases that might stand out. Jungle Book. Sometimes the movies are actually bad. It can happen.
There's a can, and then you got the diehards. That are just riddled with poppycock, but
a
are
high
fucking
poppycock.
fantastic fucking
Right.
films
Worth
that
it.
we love and will forever cherish.
Why did they show his feet? Why did they show
You know,
that man's feet?
I mean, we
You
do
know?
have the Rickman connection.
we do have the
Yippee-ki-yay,
Rickman,
motherfucker.
a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right, so you know, I'll go first because I hadn't
Do
seen
it.
this.
Yeah,
I'll go first.
get it.
First and foremost, let me thank you again for suggesting for us to go see this, even though I had a totally different movie in mind the whole time up
I'm
until the
glad
point.
you wanted to see that
know,
movie. You are
walked
really down
into-
for kind of anything.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And it just, I've always liked Kevin Smith and his films and stuff. And it is actually pretty surprising that I hadn't seen this one yet. And I, first, let me say, I know about Dogma and that the movie exists. It's not like I, did not.
And you know Dogma.
Yeah,
I mean, you
I
know
just
Christian
thought we
Dogma.
was going to see Stigmata. Like
Yeah.
that's just all it was. And then I'm like, oh, it's Dogma. Yes. So well, I haven't seen it. I told them, they're like, oh, words? Yeah, okay, well, yeah. I loved every bit of this. Everybody that was in it did their role to the fullest. It was really no weak links. Typically there's somebody that you could call out and say, like I went in a little bit, just a taste on Selma, but Selma did her fucking thing in this. I have no bad words to say. A movie out of the Kevin Smith universe is you're always up, for a nice little ride, whether it's a serious one or his standard comedy stuff. Like I said, from start to finish, thoroughly entertained. I laughed a shit ton. You just can't go wrong with Jay and Silent Bob, in my opinion. And when it comes to the different shots and everything, the cuts were clean. There were no bullshit shots that, felt unnecessary. The movie's 2 hours and 8 minutes long, but it paces well. There's really no downtime like that in it. And it's because, like, damn near with each passing scene, you're meeting somebody new that's relevant to the plot.
It's very Lord of the Rings-esque in that
Yeah,
way.
you
Yeah,
know?
it's very much like
So like it's
The Gathering.
So it moves. So I respect and appreciate that about it, and I also the writing was just brilliant.
Yep.
To take that concept, to twist it, to even come up with the idea of finding a loophole in the Bible to allow some like. How Kevin Smith, I would love, like, I don't know in that Q&A if he answered how he came up with the idea for this movie, but that is something I would definitely love to pick his brain
Oh, yeah.
about, because like it's just brilliant.
I've got a lot on that.
is-
I can
it's-
I'll elucidate
okay,
you.
Yeah, we'll definitely get it because I definitely want to dive deeper into that. But having said all of that, I don't think I said a single poppycock this whole episode. There's some, it's very little. It's very little. If you want to call out the stuff like the Scion and the Immaculate, conception and stuff like that, why even bring that into this? We didn't need that. We didn't need the Virgin Mary story. You know what I mean? But that's nitpicking. That's nitpicking to the fullest. So having said all of that, because it's so damn funny, because I love, the writing on it and everything, I'm personally going to give Dogma. I'm gonna give it a 1.5.
Nice.
It's very little poppycockiness.
Hell yeah.
Like I take it for what it is. It's a comedy. And so, like our co-host Joe always said, like when doing comedies, there has to be some level of ridiculousness in the movie. And you know what I mean? Of course, you can't bless a golf club. Like we're not seeing angels like really flying around. So yeah.
Well,
so
and they even try to talk about that.
yeah.
They're like, quit being stupid and showing yourself up.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
Yep.
but I cast that aside. It's a Kevin Smith masterpiece, and that's my rating, a 1.5.
1.5.
Beautiful.
for Dogma.
Casey, you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah. I don't even know where to start. I mean, I love this film. Kevin Smith means a lot to me. I've been going on and on about it. I think that he's a talented filmmaker. He takes big swings. I think that he talked about how this movie is like very personal to him. Did I tell you the Charlie Rose thing on here already that Chris Rock mentioned?
I do believe we mentioned that earlier, yeah.
Yeah. And he also talked in that interview about how this was very personal to him and close to him. So with this being like the 25th anniversary of it also as well, like it's basically.
Yeah, 25th, 26th, something like that, yeah.
And him getting the rights back from an absolute demon.
Yeah.
After much trial and tribulation, it's pretty cool to see. And I think that aside from just how much this film kind of stands up, it's a very interesting microcosm of so many friendships being created while being creative on a project. Like he talks even before, like until Alan Rickman's passing, every time he was in London or Alan Rickman was in Hollywood, they were like, we're eating at each other's house. I'm taking you out. I'm taking your family out. We're spending time.
Yeah.
Or bringing him to his comic book store in Jersey,
And there's so many other friendships in there. I like how Kevin Smith works with a lot of the same people, not just like a big Affleck or Matt Damon, but there's so many other people in there that he gets to work with and stuff. And he started just doing that. I mean, with credit card fraud, basically, but if that's what it takes to get something started and make this your fourth movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
With that being said, I had to start my rating with a 4.2, and then I had to work from there.
That's a good way to start.
It just had to be done. So then I gave a -1 for Jay and Silent Bob being pro-choice, pro-sex worker, and also kind of poly. So now we're down to a 3.5. There was the +1 poppycock for the angels not driving the bus, but you guys tacked me out of that, so we're still at 3.5. There's another -1 for after all of the dramatics and all of the seriousness, smashing the onion and then coming back in the room and saying, I do believe in this. Mwah. Very well delivered. We're down to a 2.5. And then for every funniest movie or every top grossing film up to 1999, and so The Home is Alone, that's another -1. I'm giving this a 1.5 as well.
All right.
Great fucking film.
Great.
Thank you, Casey. So, Dogma is a hilarious film, but it is also very smart while still being tender, albeit also explicit. But for as much controversy as the film sparked when it was released, it definitely isn't an anti-God film. And it's really not even that much of an anti-Catholic film either. There's jokes, but I mean, Smith even describes himself as still being a Catholic after that. Like, I think it's within the love of having grown up that way.
Yeah.
So now Dogma does bring many valid complaints about organized religion and the Bible. Rufus as the unwritten about 13th apostle, with his buddy Jesus, who was black, point out the literal whitewashing that occurred by those who wrote the Bible. And Serendipity also points out all the patriarchal nonsense that is preached in the Bible quite well, too. So we see the ugly nature of the anti-abortion crowd at one point early in the movie, holding their signs with dead bodies, which, Kevin Smith later in his career did that Red State where you kind of get the ultra-conservative Christo-fascist
that
crowd.
movie is
It's very well made.
Yeah.
And I think that does a really good job of skewering that crowd as well. And so as a way of whether it's protest or just commentary, by being able to put people in their place through creative works, that's something that I can appreciate here, where this is kind of a little bit of a bigger jump. It's not just a little bit. Like Mallrats is a fun movie. Dogma is kind of a classic movie, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So freedom of religion is supposed to matter in this country, but, we can ask folks who wear hijabs or turbans if that's true, especially after 9/11 type of shit. But for me, I don't care what people believe, just as long as they don't push their beliefs on others. So like Rufus said, it's better to have ideas anyways, because ideas can be changed. I love this movie. I'm glad it got a theatrical re-release. Everyone should check it out. And, I'm rating it a 1.5.
Whoa.
I originally had him rating it a 2.0, maybe even a 1.5. And
Wait, do we all give it the same rating?
I
then?
think
We
so.
did. So
Are we
that
film
means-
friends? Are we film friends on this one?
That might be the first time. No. Yeah. This might be the first time we all had the exact same. Right. Well, that brings Dogma in at a 1.5 on the Poppycock meter.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I dug it. I truly dug it.
Which is how many lives I think Jesus had, right?
Something like that.
1.5, still coming back for the...
It was something like that.
Maybe 3 days later, I'll come back and I'll understand that joke. Like fucking Jay doesn't get the holy bartender joke for 30 fucking seconds, but then gets it later in the movie. But yeah, I mean,
This one's so quotable. There's so much good dialogue in
Yeah.
here. And it is really well shot. It holds up, aside from Bartleby coming down in front of the church, flying at full, that's where you can see
Speaking
the
of,
budget.
This literally just popped into my mind. Maybe they flew. That's why they didn't drive the bus.
They didn't actually. They talked about earlier how they would not fly.
Oh, okay.
draw too much attention.
Yes.
type
Oh,
of
yeah.
shit.
Yep.
But I mean,
Okay.
one
Good
reason
call.
we certainly cover this movie because of it being re-released in theaters. And
Yes.
so if one is lucky enough to have heard this and wants to go see it in theaters, by all means do. But at the same time, if you can't or if it's not available, this movie is available on YouTube.
Yep.
So it's something
For now.
that,
And then it'll be
for
on
now,
4K on
Right,
DVD.
right.
Yeah, he's going to
and
put
so
that
certainly
shit out.
pay for it if you can give the man money. Not that he needs it, but just support art that's real art and fuck Weinstein and all that. But just also if you want to support this podcast and watch along, it's something that will not be that difficult to find.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope, not
He's
at
going
all.
to put it out on VHS, I bet.
No.
If it came back out on VHS, that'd be so
how would
fucking
I
cool.
would why would somebody buy that?
Collectors.
I guess. Yeah.
Replacing-
Yeah, that's very real.
My VHS
That's
from...
very real.
Yeah.
Because if I had the money and the opportunity to, I would absolutely buy the Star Wars trilogy on VHS. Just because it doesn't exist anymore. You can't find it. Those
Yeah.
cuts are
Especially
not,
the OG cuts, yeah.
they're not on digital.
My buddy
when
Isaac has them on VHS, and he keeps it in his garage
Yeah.
where he can pop it in and watch 15 minutes in a TV that's a combo DVD VCR in
Yeah.
the front of it. And it's for that specific reason of you're not going to maybe see it as a big
Now, are they the
widescreen,
originals?
beautiful.
Because
I
the
believe so.
remake.
I think they have them at Black Circle.
Too. Nah, man.
I mean,
No, Black
I
Circle
don't
has...
know.
these are
a
VHS tapes
lot.
from his childhood where he used to have a
Okay,
collection of
okay,
400
so
or
then,
500,
okay.
and he only kept
Because-
20 of them in the
You
Star
know,
Wars collection.
That's
somewhere.
wild.
Because you just cannot find, and this is and I don't want to get too far over here, but yeah, this is why I love Seth MacFarlane and Family Guy and shit. You know what I mean? you talking about the songs that the Ewoks are singing at the end of, Return of the Jedi? Nub nub.
Jub. Yeah.
Da 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 da. Nub nub. Da 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 da. Yeah, you don't get to hear that. It's some terrible as I don't know where they got that song from. Like,
they got that song from the. It comes up again on the Christmas special. I think it's also in that.
I don't know where the fuck they got the song that they play at the end of Return of the Jedi on the re-releases, but it is not Nub Nub. And the only way you're gonna get to hear that is on an original VHS. And the movies are they're just totally different. And I would love to have those in my collection. So yeah,
I imagine Kevin Smith would agree with you, and that does. While we can go off on tangents, that's still well within what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Just thank you all for taking this journey.
Yeah,
with me.
absolutely.
This was a fun one.
Yes, it was. And before we get out of here, we do want to take the time to say that we will be covering the 1993 drama.
Is it a court drama?
Court drama, like kind of. Yeah, it is. I give it that.
Okay.
But fantastic film, one of my favorites, to be honest with you, because of the subject matter and just how everybody kills it in it. We will be covering Philadelphia, to round out Pride Month, and like I said earlier in this episode, we will have a guest host in studio because our man Trevor will be in Cincy.
There is a Yankees-Reds baseball game that my father-in-law is a huge Yankees fan, so I'm going with the fam. And I've got some FOMO on not being here for the recording, but I can't wait to hear what y'all do because I know it's going to be a good one.
Yeah. So
I'm just gonna make up the real basic facts.
Right. So so that's what we're gonna. That's what you got to look forward to for next week. Trevor, you enjoy Great America Ballpark. It's a good park. It is. It's a great park. If you've never been, it's a good park.
I plan on probably having a couple cold ones where I'll be peeing as long as Tom Hanks and A League of Their Own.
Right.
Oh, man.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
You will be missed. You will be missed.
Absolutely. And as always, we want to thank y'all for listening to the pod and want to remind you to tell all your friends, loved ones, co-workers, and anybody that you bump into. If you're a fan of the show, let them know about it. Tell them where they can check it out. They can check it out on Podbean, Apple Pods, Spotify, anywhere that you can listen to a podcast. You can find it. It is Reel Poppycock, REEL Poppycock. So
you will also be able to find us on YouTube, Instagram,
my bad.
Facebook.
I forgot we got the new YouTube channel. Yeah.
We're also looking at sending out postcards, and we will attach someone's body part to them at the right price. Like we can figure these things. I don't know. Where there's a lot of things going on.
It's up for discussion. So just reach out. Let us know. You know what I mean? And what the price point is, and we'll work it out. We'll work it out. Yeah. But having said that, as always, we've been your hosts on this episode. I'm Ed.
This was Trevor.
And this is KC.
And we are out. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Thanks for listening in today. And make sure you head over to social media and give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram at Reel Poppycock. Or email us at reelpoppycock@gmail.com. That's REELPOPPYCOCK@gmail.com, where you'll be able to find links to all of our episodes, give your feedback, make suggestions for what movies you want us to discuss, as well as segment ideas that you may want to hear us do. As always, we want to thank our title sponsor, Inspire Music Collective. Make sure to check them out on Facebook and Instagram at Inspire Music Collective, or go visit their website at inspiremusiccollective.org. If you or someone you know is interested in becoming a sponsor of the show, please shoot us an email or shoot us a DM on socials, and we'll get back to you. Lastly, If you like this podcast and what we do, make sure to tell at least one person about us. Word of mouth is still the best way to get the word out about creative works, and we would greatly appreciate it if you told your friends and loved ones about it. Once again, thanks for listening, and see you next time.